Okay, so now we made it to the first section, which is called functions as objects. So we're going to go through this particular section, and I'm going to kind of give you a high level view of what to expect. But also too, if you're new to this channel, I'm going to show you how to get the actual file that you need to follow along with the GitHub repository. I'll show you where to find that, how to fork it, and also to how to put it inside of VS Code so you can follow along to do some of these exercises. So going forward, I'm going to still use the console and the inspect tool, but I'm going to also use a lot of VS Code as well, because we're getting to that point to where I want you to get more and more familiar with VS Code. So like I say, if you're new to this channel and you're not a part of the cohort, the curriculum is in the link in the description. You can follow along, and I'll show you in a few moments how to fork the repository. Okay, let's get started. Okay, functions as objects. Functions are powerful tools in any programming language, and JavaScript uses these tools in some flexible and creative ways. This chapter introduces a bit more of the power of functions. Functions are objects. We define a value as a specific piece of data. Some examples are the number 42, the string LC101, and the array Mo, Florida, and DC. Functions appear to be very different from other keywords we have worked with. They share many core characteristics. In particular, functions have a data type similar to other JavaScript objects. Recall that a data type is a group of values that share characteristics, such as strings and numbers. Strings are the characteristics of having a length, while numbers don't. Understand that you do not need to use the length property on numbers far as the primitive data type, or if it's just one number, only strings and arrays. Numbers can be manipulated in ways that strings cannot, via operations like division and subtraction. Remember the plus operator. It has two duties, one for addition, the other for concatenation. The data type of the type conversion function is number, is function. In fact, all functions are of type function. So if I do a type of for a function, it's going to let me know that it is a function. And here's the output. Here's the type of for 42, a number, type of for LC101, a string, and then type of number, function. But notice it doesn't have the parentheses. It just has the number, and it knows that it is a function. And why we know it's not a string? Because it doesn't have the quotation marks. We know it's not a Boolean. We know it's not undefined. We know it's not a symbol. When you write it like this, JavaScript knows, the compiler would know that it is a function. Like other data types, functions may be assigned to variables. If we create a function named hello, we can assign it to a variable with this syntax, like so. Function hello, we could put something in the body, and then we could take that function and we can assign it to hello func. Now notice again, we just said hello and we don't have the parentheses. How does the compiler know? It knows it's not a string, and it knows it's not no other primitive data type, but it knows it's a function, and it's smart enough to read that this is a function without the parentheses. Now, when a variable refers to a function, we can use the variable name to call the function, like so. But notice now, I have to add the parentheses, although this is a variable. But remember, a variable is an object. It's a container. It's holding a function data type. So in order for me to invoke it, I need to use the parentheses. Now, the variable hello func can be thought of as an alias. Remember that, because we're going to be using alias in the future for the function hello. When we call the function hello func, JavaScript sees that it refers to the function hello and calls that specific function. It's being invoked. It has to have those parentheses in order to be invoked. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of that you may not read and you may not see, but parentheses are what we call an operator. It is still an operator. It's part of this function. It's part of invoking, but it's actually an operator. Now, when we use a variable name, we are really using its value. If the variable course is assigned the value LC101, then console.log course will print LC101, because remember, variables are containers. When a variable holds a function, it behaves the same way as when it holds a number or a string. The variable refers to the function. Again, functions can be used in different ways. For example, functions may be assigned to a variable. Functions may be used in expressions such as a comparison. Functions may be printed using console.log. Functions may be passed as arguments to other functions. Functions may be returned from other functions. Some of these function behaviors do not prove to be useful. However, other behaviors like passing functions as arguments and assigning them to variables turn out to be extremely useful. Now, we made it to the end of this section, but before we go further and before I end it here, I want to show you how to fork the actual repository, because going forward in this particular chapter, we're going to use VS Code. So how do you do it? If you come back up here to chapter 3, and we're going to go here to the JavaScript repository in chapter 3, and then we're going to click on the project. Now what it does is opens up VS Code. Open up GitHub. Now notice something, we're under the LaunchCode education GitHub, but we want to fork this to our own GitHub. So you have to go here, click on fork. When you click on fork, it's going to say create a fork. And when you create a fork, it's going to open up, you have to be logged into GitHub. It's going to open up your GitHub and it's going to fork it there. Now, I don't have to fork it because I already have it forked. So I'm going to go to my VS Code. See, this is see my picture here. This is my repository. And here is the actual JavaScript project. Now, in order for me to fork this, what I'm going to do, I'm on a Windows, so I'm going to do this on Windows. I'm going to open up Git Bash. Now, here in Git Bash, here's my document. First thing I'm going to use, I'm going to use the command ls, because this will work in the terminal as well on a Mac. And it's letting me know that I am in my documents folder. I have a directory created called LC101. So what I'm going to do is type CD, and I'm a capital C LC. I'm going to hit tab, which is going to complete it for me. So that's the shortcut. I'm going to hit enter. Notice right here, now I'm in that directory. I'm going to ls to list out what's in that directory. I already have the JavaScript project. So what I'm going to do is, because I want you to see a new installment of it, I'm going to make a new directory. I'm going to say mkdir. That is the command that you have to type for making a new directory. And I'm going to call this LC 101 underscore project. I'm going to hit enter. Now it's been created. I'm going to hit list ls again, and there it is, LC101 project. I have to CD into that. So I'm going to do capital LC 101 underscore tab, and it finishes it for me or completes it. Hit enter. Now I am in that particular folder or directory. ls again, there's nothing in it, because if it was, it would show me. So now I need to go back over here to my GitHub. Here's the code, and I want you to go ahead and hit copy to clipboard. Now I'm going to go back over here to my GitHub. Now with GitHub, it may not let you use the shortcut command Control V. You're just going to have to right click and paste it in, but that's not what I want to do. So what I need to do first, in order for me to clone this repository, I got to type this command first: git clone. And now I'm going to paste in that path. Now I'm going to hit, you have to type git clone in order to clone a repository. Now I'm going to do another ls is complete. There's the project. And then I got to do CD into that project, tab. I just typed JA, a couple of characters, hit tab, and it completed it for me. Hit enter, and now I am in that repository. Here's your proof right here, and I am on the main. So now I can do ls, and that's all the files that's in this particular project. Now I can type a shortcut called CODE space dot for VS Code, and it's going to open up VS Code for me. So here's VS Code. There it is. And there it is right here, JavaScript, and there are all the directories. All right. So I wanted to set that up because we're going to use this going forward. So again, take the time, set it up, and let's move forward. So that's the end of this video. I'll see you on the next section. But remember, the more you do, the more you improve. Okay.